Good morning and welcome from Glenwood Lutheran Church. My name is Pastor Mark Manning. We gather this week once again during the season of Advent. And if you've been paying attention to our worship services during this Advent, we've been lighting a candle each week. The first week we lit a candle for the idea of hope. The second week, last week, we lit a candle for peace. This coming week, we will light a candle outlining joy and describing joy, and then next week, that candle for love. Now, whatever church you may be a part of, they may have different ways of talking about these various themes during Advent. For our church, Pastor Chris has chosen some very, very good dialogues that she and I do. As we stand up front and we light that candle, they're good because they're not simply a proclamation that we should feel a certain way. Because truth be told, as humans, during this time of the year, there are times and people and places who feel despair. There are circumstances where people are troubled. There are circumstances where people are depressed or feel unloved. And if you listen carefully to the dialogue that she's chosen, that she and I share up there, it owns up to a world where things not perfect coming into the Christmas season. It owns up to the very real emotions that people feel in a world that doesn't always present these nice feelings for everyone to feel, or doesn't necessarily sit there and say, you have to be this way, when it's obvious to many of them that they don't feel that way. And yet, in the midst of real human emotions, we still proclaim not just ideas, but by the power of Holy Spirit and the ministry of people, we still proclaim the possibility that in a world that can be despairing, there is hope in the coming of Christ. And it's an emotion that we can share and be in. We say that there is a peace which passes all understanding that keeps us bound together with God. And it's something that we just can't summon of our own accord, but rather something which comes because of the presence of God in our lives. That there is joy that Paul will talk about this coming weekend. Joy which comes in the midst of the circumstance in his life, which is prison. And that there can be love, even for those who feel unloved. All this is because of the coming of Jesus Christ, not merely as a proclamation 2,000 years ago, but the coming of Christ in our gathering as a community in worship, in the sacraments of baptism, but especially of Holy Communion, and of the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, which really is the basis for these emotions during this time of year. That way we don't come off as sort of blithe Hallmark card Christians and churches, but rather we preach the presence of the Holy Spirit in our lives, creating these and attending to these even when they're difficult to feel. Well, may our church be a church which preaches and teaches and shows these things as real emotions against the backdrop of the real emotions of our world. And may you join together with us as we gather and worship and we call upon the presence of God in the midst of all this world that we share, all the human part of it, to celebrate. Come, join us this Advent and this Christmas season as we look forward to hope and peace and joy, and especially the love of God and Jesus Christ.